initial scrimmage, kind of what were your thoughts after that one?
Yeah, I thought we played with great effort and energy. Probably gave up some explosive plays that we hadn't been giving up, and didn't like that. But I thought we battled back after an early slow start, and I thought they were resilient and things like that. And then we kind of pulled back some of those older guys and played some younger guys and let them get out there and get probably the most snaps they've seen so far camp. So it was nice to see them run around too and learn from their mistakes. So playing the coach off of scrimmage one like you'd expect.
I know you were big on seeing the tackling.
Yeah.
What you think of that?
We can still, like Coach Earl says, you always think you can improve on it. You know what I mean? Especially, I want to see us tackle better in space. You know what I mean? You got some of those young DBs out there, and just seeing them get off the blocks and tackle in space. Like I said, I thought we missed some of those early, especially before we kind of settled in and started making those plays.
For you, how much do you have to balance? You're obviously going against an experienced quarterback,
Yeah.
good offense. So, like, that may be a good thing for your defense, but also having to clean up those things.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. Kaden does such a good job. It's so different. You see from him not going through the spring. Don't get me wrong; those guys were solid too, those other quarterbacks. But there were some windows there that never got taken advantage of. You know what I mean? He just anticipates throws so well, and he runs the offense so well. It seems like they're moving so much faster with him out there. That's what I told JDB this morning. You're not doing anything new necessarily, but it's just like when Kaden's out there, those guys get lined up quicker, and I'm sure that has to do with leadership and all those other things.
You said scrimmages were big for just kind of assessing position battles for ones that were close. Is there anyone that was a big riser on Saturday?
Big riser. I wouldn't say so. You know what I mean? I mean, we have some position battles that are going back and forth. We have some that are solidified guys. This time of year, it's a cliche, but you got three processes you're going through in fall campuses. First thing is you're trying to figure out who's on the bus, right? Okay, and then you got to figure out what the right seats are for them to sit in, right? And then you got to figure out the direction that bus is going, right? So I think we know who's on the bus right now. Okay, I think right now we're still figuring out, like you're saying, who's sitting in what seat, whether that be a one or a two, or at this position or that position. And then once we solidify that, then you determine, okay, schematically, what fits these guys best, right? Like I said in the spring, we got to have a big enough menu that fits our guys depending on who's in the game. Your defense changes year to year. You might have a strength in this room one year and a strength in that one the next year. So probably looking to solidify that this week, what you're asking about, and then we can move forward to what we want to hang our hat on.
Can you update the defensive line? Who's doing well, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, Raheem and JD doing great on the edge out there. You know what I mean? And Zion has been very consistent at nose guard. He's a big guy, and sometimes got to push him through some of those hotter days. But him and Zay inside, have been really solidifying. As probably the two of the stronger guys. And then Justin Benton, he gets better every day. Transfer, and I'm really excited about him. And he's a little different than those two. He's a little dynamic, got some good pass rush moves and things like that. So those probably be the top three that stand out to me right now.
How's Julian Davis doing going from inside previously in previous years to outside?
I think he's playing faster. You know what I mean? He's so athletic. He's one of the biggest, I'd say, freaks on the team. You know what I mean? Just from a size to speed ratio. So just when he can just let it loose and just go, as opposed to playing linebacker where you're getting guys lined up. There's a lot of communication. Not that he couldn't handle it. He was good at it, but you just never saw him playing with the speed that he has that you see in these workouts and things like that. And now that, man, you see him playing at a different speed. He's got a big-time motor. He plays really hard. He can rush the passer naturally. He goes down there. He's never even done it before, and he's winning rushing the passer, just because he's a natural athlete. So I'm really excited about Julian. And I think there can be a bunch of other roles that we can build around him where he plays, even if he's not the starter with Raheem, you can see him play just as many snaps.
I was going to ask this. It feels like y'all have a decent amount of pass rushers, so not to give away your secrets, but do you envision different packages where those guys are on the field?
Yeah, I do think we can rush the passer. I've made it very known to them that I think they can rush the passer and that we're gonna cut them loose. You know what I mean? I think we just got to be detailed in how we rotate guys in, or like you're saying, have packages where we got the right guys on the field at the same time. That's our job. I think that's something we can hang our hat on, is just cutting those guys loose. I don't always think we've got to create pressure by just bringing everybody, because we got some dudes who can line up and win.
Coach, you talked about those young DBs, and Keith Carmel made a big play at the end of the scrimmage, and Alex Moore had a big hit. Just how do you see Alex Moore kind of grow from where he was in the spring till now.
Yeah, so we moved him from corner to star, or I believe it was corner to star, out of the safety, to star right when I got here, and man, he's flourished since. You know what I mean? He competes at a very high level. He's got a high care factor about him. He's still growing into his body. I mean, he's getting bigger. I mean, he's a good-looking kid, and so really excited about him having a role for us. And he continues to show up. I mean, he'll probably be a 4-core special teams guy at a minimum, and he's definitely playing some solid snaps for us on defense right now.
How's corner competition going again? You'll have a lot of guys there. Is anybody starting?
I mean, Rasheed Reasons, I mean, he solidifies himself as a guy in my eyes. I mean, he competes every day. Not to say he's perfect or anything like that, but, a big part about DB is experience sometimes, because those guys don't panic when the ball's in the air. Don't get me wrong, running fast and all these things are great, but, the greatest DBs, when that ball's in the air, they don't panic. Just like receivers. The best receivers, when the ball's in the air, they don't panic. They may not be on the right spot. They got good body control, all those things. That's what Rasheed's got. When the ball's in the air, he doesn't panic. He's confident. He locked into his assignment for a guy. What I'm really impressed with is he wasn't here in the spring, and he's really locked into the defense already. So, he stood out to me, and those other guys are competing as well. And, I think it's really nice that we got a bunch of guys near the same level and creates competition. They better be on their A game, or they might be with the 2s or the 3s the next day. So, but that'd be one guy that stands out right now.
Where do you want to see your unit take the biggest leap this week?
I just want to see guys stay consistent. You know what I mean? The sign of a good offense, defense side of the ball is no peaks and valleys, right? Okay. And I just want to see them be consistent, doing our job and communicating. And then probably the second part is the communication. I just want to see when you've got those guys who haven't been starters per se and all this, you want to see them communicate and lead and all that before the first game. We don't have time for them to go out there and, we got a tough 4-game stretch to start the season. We don't have time for them to go out there, get experience, and all of a sudden, okay, now I know how to do this. And you look up and, you're not feeling pretty good about what's on the scoreboard. So we've got to make sure that we're communicating right now and holding them to the fire.